my layout. It's I call it the Old Reliable, which is one of the names from the old L&N group. I model primarily the L&N group, which is L&N, Monon, and NCSL. My layout is set up to be transition era. It's freelance. It's not specifically to specific L&N locations. It's set up for operations. I've got about 20 different sidings all through the whole layout where you can spot cars at different industries. It's set up as a point-to-point with return loops on both ends. Single track main with passing sidings. Passing sidings are all about 10 foot long, so I can do 20 cars with 2 engines and a caboose. L&N was primarily a coal hauling line, so I've got a pair of coal mines in here. I also have a steel mill, coke oven, and other facilities that use coal. One of the things I enjoy a lot is the old billboard reefers. So I built an icing house where I can bring in a lot of reefers. I can got a whole beer train with all beer cars. I also have a bunch of reefers and everything that are cross-country reefers from Santa Fe. I can run a whole meat train, a whole fruit train, so I enjoy using the reefers. Aside from that, I've got a bunch of just other miscellaneous industries. I've got a Coca-Cola plant, we're here in Georgia, and just a lot of setup for running trains and for operations. The hillside over here originally came from one of our old members who moved to Florida. So we went in there with a saw and just cut it out. It fit perfectly on this corner of my layout, so it hides where I go through the wall into my hidden staging area. When he built his layout is an HO layout, and he built it with forced perspective. So you can see that the road area in here, that is all N scale, which is what I'm modeling. And he originally had like Z scale at the top. So this fit right perfectly in here in this area. This is my coal mine area. The mountain came off of one of the guys at our old operating group's layout when he moved to Florida. The coal mine is set up and everything for primarily L&N and NCSL. The passenger station is here. This is one of my 3 passenger stations. Once it gets set up, the water tower is an operating water tower with sound. We're moving into the townscape. The townscape is, the front part is all set in place right now, but the back section will be a pop-out so I can do track work. This is the steel mill area here. It's got a custom-made double rolling mill and also a custom-made blast furnace. The blast furnace and the steel mill, this area was originally part of Mike Devaney's layout. The steel mill was built in a custom L shape instead of the straight through shape of the normal steel mill. This L-shaped blast furnace was built specifically for Mike Devaney's old N-scale layout. This is the rolling mill section here is a custom-made rolling mill that was made for Mike Devaney's layout. It's a double rolling mill. It's 2 kits. And then you have the blast furnaces down past the rolling mill. And there's tracks in front of it and everything for bringing in the materials. The ore, the coke, and scrap loads. Here's the gold flame fuel. This was one of the customers that would be used for the coal plant, and also from the oil refinery, which is on the other side of the layout. Then we got into the industrial area again. There's just some industrial buildings here. And now we're going into the coke oven plant. This is a custom coke plant that was built for Mike Devaney's layout. The unusual thing about it is it's a double coke plant with a single feed. So you've got a single track is feeding two separate coke plants. Here we have my ice plant. Built this and weathered this a number of years ago. Instead of having the loading docks coming out two separate ones, I've got it set up with a single long loading dock for the ice to be loaded in. Okay, this is my custom Monon Thoroughbred passenger set. The engines and the cars have all been custom painted. You've got two shades of gray and the red. The coaches are now prototypical coaches. They originally were Concord coaches, but I filled in the windows that weren't correct and cut in new windows in the correct position. This is my REA facility. Got a bunch of REA cars in here. The buildings in the back are just flats that are laid up against the wall, and I can put the trucks and everything up to the loading docks just as if they were a full building. This area here is my what I would call Fort Knox, which is near Louisville, Kentucky. I've got a troop car set up here, and I have a number of flats with military loads on them. L&N did a lot of troop movements, and they actually went to a lot of military bases. Over here is what I would call my Louisville main yard and service area, which would be equivalent to the old L&N Strawberry Yard. I got engine work facility, the roundhouse and the turntable, coaling tower, water tower, everything that would be used during the steam to diesel transition era, which I modeled primarily 1950s.